When you are on the go, you need your credit union to be right there with you. Hughes Federal Credit Union makes your life easier. For 65 years, Hughes has called Southern Arizona home and has given back to our community. Isn't that who you want as your financial partner?
Welcome to Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley, here with Greg Hansen. Greg, it's been 4 months of basketball and talking about it and writing about it. And yet you could say that it all leads up to Saturday. Arizona-UCLA, McKale Center, primetime television, ESPN's game day show, and one of the greatest matchups in Pac-12 regular season history.
You can make a case it's one of the 3 biggest regular season games in league history.
Wow.
I think.
What are the others?
Well, number 1 is 1981 at Gill Coliseum. Number 1, Oregon State, 26-0, played number 5 Arizona State with Byron Scott, Fat Lever, Alton Lister, Sam Williams, all number 1 draft picks. Senior day at Oregon State, number 1. ASU beats them by 20 in Corvallis.
Whoa.
Best Pac-12 game I've ever seen.
And Ralph Miller, I'm guessing, was less than happy.
He was so mad at the referees because their star, their first-team All-American center, Steve Johnson, got 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes. Wow. Set the rest of the half, and they were down 40-20 at half. I was covering the game. I used to live in Oregon. Wow. And that game has stayed with me more than any other, except the Don McLean, Derek Martin game at McKale Center, right, breaking the 71-game streak in 1992.
To tell you how long ago that was, I can't even think of a good analogy outside of it was so long ago that Oregon State and Arizona State were good at basketball. That was wow.
Both teams were so good. Oregon State should have won the national title. They didn't. They lost in the first round.
Wow.
Which was unthinkable.
Wow. Who'd they lose to?
They lost to Kansas State. Rolando Blackman on the cover of Sports Illustrated hit a jumper at the buzzer. It was a stall game. They didn't have a clock then.
Right.
48-46.
Wow. When you talk about the great all-time Pac-12 games at McKale Center, it's kind of a short list.
Oh, yeah.
In part because Arizona's been so darn good there.
Yeah.
At least in recent history, sort of, what are your favorites?
Well, those Stanford battles,
right,
when they were number 1, you know, Stanford won 4 straight games here over, you know, Arizona teams are in the top 10.
Sure.
But then Arizona won 4 straight at Maples.
That's right.
And I think the second best game in league history was at Maples in March of 2001. Arizona's Final Four team beat number 1 Stanford. Stanford was 27-1. Wow. On a last-second layup by Michael Wright.
That's right. That's right. Going up against the Collins twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great team. Yeah.
And given that it was in March,
right,
just like that Oregon State ASU game was in March, compares a lot to this one on Saturday. To me, the one thing about the game Saturday is if Arizona wins, it won't have to play Oregon on a Friday night in the Pac-12 tournament.
It's very true. Because we were arguing off camera, I think that it's a great game, but I'm not sure what the stakes are necessarily. And you countered with that, which is you want to get on the opposite side of the Pac-12 tournament bracket from UCLA and Oregon.
Right. If you're in that Friday game, it's a death match. Mm-hmm. And then Saturday, you got to go up against either Oregon, UCLA, or Arizona, however it works out. So does any conference in the country have a better potential postseason tournament than the last 2 days of the Pac-12 tournament?
No. I mean, I would argue to you, the league is not what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's not very deep or very good,
yeah,
top to bottom. But I think at least in the top 4, it's as good a top 4 as there is. I mean, Arizona, UCLA, Oregon, Cal. I mean, that's not bad. Those semifinal games, if it's just chalk all the way to that, that's must-see TV, I think.
And each team has a personality, different personality. It's really intriguing. There've been a lot of good Pac-12 tournament lead-ins, but this is, to me, is right up there.
And if we're talking about sort of first-round draft picks, how many first-round draft picks are going to be? I mean, if we include Cal in that group, right? I mean, Rab, Markkanen, maybe Kobe Simmons, Lonzo Ball, T.J. Leaf.
Oh, and maybe the 3 Oregon guys.
And the 3 Oregon guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's half the league.
Yeah. Well, this is getting ahead of everything, but moving it to T-Mobile Arena with like 5,000 more seats, we'll see if people buy it.
Greg, let's talk X's and O's here. You know, Steve Alford is a guy who I think has a reputation throughout the league as being a superior recruiter. I think that the jury may still be out on the X's and O's stuff. Sean Miller is a guy, obviously, who is intense and very much in the X's and O's. Who do you give kind of the coaching edge to heading into this game?
Oh, Sean Miller.
Yeah. Who has the talent edge?
Really good question. Arizona beat them over there handily. I think people downplay Arizona's talent.
Really?
Kobe Simmons and Raleigh Alkins, if they played somewhere else, people would say, if they played at Cal or Stanford, they go, boy, we got these 2 McDonald's All-American guys. Right. I think the talent's about a push.
I think it'll all come down to how Arizona's guards handle Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
He is as peerless a player as there is in college basketball, maybe outside of Lauri Markkanen, who's a 7-foot shooter. Lonzo Ball is a 6'6" point guard who leads America in assists. Arizona, if you had to circle a problem area for Arizona, I think it's the point guard position.
But the last 2 games, Parker Jackson Cartwright has been Steph Curry.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really good.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think it is as highly anticipated a basketball game as I can remember at McHale Center.
Yeah.
And, I mean, prime time in the East on a Saturday night, I mean, I think that the country will see the Pac-12's 2 best teams.
Yeah. Best game at McHale Center since 2001, I think.
Wow. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. For Greg Hansen, I can't let you go without asking for a prediction.
Well, last week on TV, I heard Lonzo Ball's dad say he's better than Steph Curry right now. So if he is that good, UCLA is going to win.
Okay.
So, and I don't think he is that good yet. So I think Arizona's going to win.
Who's the leading scorer in that game?
You know, I think it'll be somebody from UCLA, one of their perimeter shooters.
Here's my bonkers prediction. I bet Arizona gets up big early. UCLA rallies late. Bryce Alford, of all people, finishes with something like 28 points, but Arizona wins.
Yeah, I wouldn't put anything past Bryce Alford, yeah.
Yeah. No conscience as a shooter. Just not afraid to just pull up and shoot.
Yeah.
Crazy. I'm Ryan Finley. We'll see you next time.